Hello there everyone, and welcome to your weekly MTA plan work video for the Queens Subways and Long Island Railroad for the last weekend of February 2019. This is for the weekend of February 22nd through the 25th, as next week it will be the start of March, with of course March starting on Friday, March 1st, and of course for that service changes video it will last until Monday, March 4th. And if you ever look at your calendars in most years, the same days that we had in February, where February started on a Friday, March will be starting on a Friday, and things will go back to normal on Friday, March 29th. So, the only reason why I remembered that date was because that's when Disney is releasing the live-action reboot of Dumbo. So that's why I can easily remember that. But keeping in mind, when we do the service changes video next year on this weekend, it will be a very special weekend, as we will have a holiday, as it will be Leap Day, a day that comes every 4 years, where we of course honor an extra day that happens every 4 years. I just said that, wow. But yeah, that will be on Saturday, February 29th. I think that's the first time since 2004 it happened, unless I'm wrong. Maybe I can confirm that as we go to the next slide, because I do have my phone with me. But yes, we'll get to the Long Island Railroad. We'll get to the dates for the committee meetings, because as if you're not aware, we have committee meetings coming up on the 25th, which will be held at 2 Broadway, so I will get into further details about that as we go along here. There we go. Now my phone's acting up. Now my phone's not acting up. My bad. That was a Sunday in 2004. Our first question this weekend is there any work on that purple line known as the 7? Unfortunately, yes, there is. This is going to be taking place only on Saturday. So this is only this Saturday, February 23rd, 6:45 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Free shuttle buses, along with the E, F, N, R, and 42nd Street shuttle, will replace 7 service between 34th Street, Hudson Yards, and Queensboro Plaza because of emergency track repairs. They are very urgent. 7 service will run between Flushing Main Street and Queensboro Plaza. You can use the E, F, N, R, or Times Square 42nd Street shuttle for service this weekend. The E, F, N, or R trains are for specific service between Manhattan and Queens. However, if you are along 42nd Street, you do have the shuttle. If you are in between Bryant Park at Grand Central 42nd Street or at Times Square 42nd Street, best way to do it is just walk. Do not take the M42 bus. That's what I will be saying at the moment. Transfer at Queensboro Plaza or 74th Street, Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue to continue for service. Free shuttle buses will be running along 2 routes between Hudson Yards and Times Square, which again, stupid. They should be running it to Bryant Park, but guess not. And between Queensboro Plaza and Verdon Boulevard. Let's take a look at the N. First up, just the same thing as the last week, and this is also going to take place on the R line. I'll quickly recap that as we go along here, but February 22nd to the 25th, 9:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. Uptown N and R trains will be skipping 49th Street because of electrical improvements. So again, I'll recap that later on in this presentation, but figure to get it out of the way, leave that slide and not take it out. But yes, 49th Street, the Uptown N will not be stopping there because of electrical improvements. Now to the big headache on the Ditmars line. 23rd to the 24th, 3:45 a.m. Saturday, 10 p.m. Sunday. The shuttle buses are coming back. They are going to be replacing train service between Astoria, Ditmars Boulevard, and Queensboro Plaza because of station improvements. The N will run between Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue, and Queensboro Plaza. Buses will be making all end stops between Queensboro Plaza and Astoria Ditmars Boulevard. Transfer between trains and buses at Queensboro Plaza. No M service again this weekend. This will begin on the 22nd, 9:45 p.m. Friday. Once again, M service is going to be ending early between Forest Hills, 71st Avenue, and 4750th Street, Rockefeller Plaza, because of signal modernization. You can take the E, F, and or R line. For Queens, take the F or the R via transfer at 34th Street, Herald Square. For Court Square, 23rd Street, Lexington Avenue, 53rd Street, and 5th Avenue, 53rd Street, you can take the E via transfer at West 4th Street, Washington Square Park. February 22nd to the 25th, 10 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. on Monday. Special weekend M service will run between Middle Village Metropolitan Avenue and 4750th Street, Rockefeller Plaza, and via the F to and from Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street, and via the Q line to and from 2nd Avenue, 96th Street. Once again, R service. The following time frames for the R skipping. 49th Street, because of track maintenance, will be at the following times. On Friday, February 22nd from 9:45 p.m. to 11 p.m. And on Saturday and Sunday, February 23rd to the 24th, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. These will be the times where the downtown R train will not be stopping at 49th Street because of track maintenance. So the easiest option I will recommend if you do need to get over to that area is just walk. Don't deal with another headache of wondering when the train's going to come. I've done the walk to 49th Street from 42nd numerous times. It's not a bad walk. I will recommend not walking on, what is it? Is it 7th Avenue? Yeah, 7th Avenue, because there's a couple skimmers who like to hang around 45th Street. So avoid that. If you can, stay on the left side of Times Square. Don't walk on the right side. Avoid the skimmers. They pretty much like to sell you fake CDs. So that's the one thing I will tell you to do right now, because being familiar with Times Square, and especially dealing with them and trying to get to the 1, 2, or 3 train to go back to Penn Station can be a real big hassle. But anyhow, back to what we are intending to do, which is talk about your service changes for the Queens subways. We have a big headache coming up on the E this weekend. February 22nd to the 25th, 11:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. on Monday. Free shuttle buses along with the Q60 will be replacing E trains between Briarwood and Jamaica Center because of track replacement. E trains will run between World Trade Center and Briarwood and via the F to and from Jamaica 179th Street. Free shuttle buses along with the Q60 will be making all E-stops between Kew Gardens Union Turnpike and Jamaica Center. I quickly want to clarify that point, is that if you are going to be taking the Q60 or the shuttle bus, I would recommend taking the shuttle bus directly to get to Jamaica Center. The Q60 does not stop at Jamaica Center. It stops at JFK. Sutphin Boulevard JFK station is what I'm trying to say. So, if you need service, there's two options. Well, three, right. Shuttle bus, Q30, Q31, or the J train. Because the good news is the J train is running. So if you end up taking the Q60 and you're coming from that area and you need to get over to Jamaica Center, you do have those three options: shuttle bus, Q30, Q31 bus, or J train. However, there's a fourth option. You can walk. It's not a bad walk, trust me. It's about a 10-minute walk to get back to the movie theater from Sutphin and Archer. It's not that far walking to Parsons, trust me. So you do have your options right there. Transfer between buses and trains at Union Turnpike or Briarwood. For service between Manhattan and JFK Airport, you could take the A to and from Howard Beach JFK Airport or use the Long Island Railroad between Penn Station and Jamaica. February 22nd to the 25th, 9:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday. Uptown E-Trains will be skipping Spring Street and 23rd Street because of track replacement. February 23rd to the 25th, 12:01 a.m. Saturday to 5 a.m. Monday. E-Trains will run local in both directions in Queens because of signal modernization. Same with the F. It will be running local in both directions in Queens because of the signal modernization project. And I bet I know what it is. It's probably the CBTC, Communications-Based Train Control, or Communications, or whatever they call it. I don't know, but that's what they're doing. Good news is no planned work on the G this weekend. Any work on the J, there's no planned work on the entire line. However, I just want to quickly remind everybody until the summer, J trains are going to be skipping 111th Street in both directions because of station rehab. Use nearby stations at 104th Street or 121st Street to complete your trip. Take the Q56 bus to and from 104th Street and 121st Street J and Z stations. Free transfer with your Metro card. Additional free transfers with Metro cards will be available between Q37, Q56, and the subway at 104th Street, 121st Street, or Woodhaven Boulevard stations. The Q56 will run with enhanced service between 111th Street and 121st Street. On the A line, there's no planned work in Queens. However, I want to mention it's a big service change in Manhattan. The 22nd to the 25th, 9:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. on Monday. Uptown A and C trains. This will also affect the C line. Will run express from Canal Street in Manhattan to Harlem 125th Street because of track replacement. To complete your trip, take a downtown train at Harlem 125th Street. Once again, you have the reliability improvements. So, Friday to Monday, 22nd to 25th, 10:45 p.m. Friday to 5 a.m. Monday, you will have no L train between Manhattan and Brooklyn. This is between Broadway Junction and 8th Avenue and 14th Street. You do have your alternatives. I'm not going to get into it again, but I'm going to leave this up for a couple more seconds. So once again, if you're on your phone, I encourage you to take a screenshot. You're more than welcome to do that if you want to remember what's going on with the L, because, you know, it was originally supposed to be shut down, but then they changed their mind, and now this is why we have this, and it's going to probably continue probably until 2020 or 2021. I'm going to have to leave this here every week, but, you know, I'll leave it every week for your chance to take a screenshot. Now with that out of the way, we will go to the Long Island Railroad service changes for this weekend, and of course the schedule for the MTA committee and the board meeting for next week. Alright, so we have the following service change for the Ronkonkoma branch this weekend, and this will also go into next weekend as buses are going to be replacing train service between Ronkonkoma and Hicksville. There is a track work program that's going to originate in Farmingdale. There's also going to be some adjustments to Greenpoint trains. Service will be affected as follows. Westbound Ronkonkoma Bethpage, be prepared to board buses up to Hicksville. Be prepared to board buses to Hicksville up to 45 minutes earlier than normal times. Additional travel time, approximately 45 minutes. Greenpoint Medford, transfer the buses at Ronkonkoma and resume train service at Hicksville. Approximate travel time is 1 hour. Eastbound Bethpage to Ronkonkoma, transfer the buses at Hicksville. The additional travel time will approximately be 45 minutes. Medford Greenpoint, be prepared to depart from Penn Station 1 hour earlier than normal train times at 7:12 a.m. and 12:12 p.m. transfer the buses at Hicksville, and resume train service to Ronkonkoma. Additional travel time is 1 hour. To learn more, you have the special copy of the Ronkonkoma branch special track work timetable, which will be dated Saturday and Sunday, February 23rd and 24th, and Saturday and Sunday, March 2nd through the 3rd. As an alternative to busing, regular weekend service is scheduled to operate on the Babylon and Port Jefferson branches. A similar busing program will be in effect on Sunday, March 10th from approximately 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. Monday morning. Additional details will be provided as the date approaches. So, we may have another important service change on the Ronkonkoma branch on Sunday, March 10th. So that's something we're going to have to hear from the railroad about. So, I'm just hoping that they'll do the right thing like they did last year, and hopefully there will not be any school buses. Because if I hear that there are any school buses this weekend, you know who we're going to have to point the finger at. Well, hopefully not. There'll be regular buses. And hopefully when I'm on the Long Island Expressway this weekend, because I may be going out somewhere with my parents on Saturday, I hopefully will see the coach buses on the road. And I've told my parents that the reason why the buses are on the road is because they're on their way to Hicksville to pick up the passengers and take them to Ronkonkoma. So, obviously, hopefully, nothing will be bad out of this, and hopefully we will get our coach buses that we were promised. Now, on to the committee meetings. Once again, I brought this up in a previous video earlier this week, that we will have the monthly committee meeting, and unfortunately, Catherine Rinaldi from Metro North is going to get too much time to speak, as Metro North and Long Island Railroad have combined the committee meeting for this month, which stinks. And I know for a fact on Monday, I'm going to be back at work. So obviously, I'm only going to watch the public speakers, like Jason Anthony Pinero, like Omar Vera maybe, like Murray Bowden. And I'm probably just going to say, you know what? Enough. I'm not listening to these people. And hopefully while I'm at work on Monday, I'm hopefully going to watch New York City Transit only. Because honestly, and I said this earlier, if I were to go to the meeting this month, I would be complaining to Andy Byford and telling him where I've seen since the new year started. I've seen more graffiti on the subway cars. I brought it up earlier this week. I want the red paint back. I've seen trash at my summits, Herald Square, Atlantic Avenue, and a couple examples like we've mentioned earlier this week. And maybe Jason can speak up for me. I don't know. Because honestly, if I were to go, that's what I would be complaining about. That's what I would be telling Andy Byford and all the other people at NYCT about this. Because since the new year started, the subways have just crumbled. I don't know what happened, but once 2019 started, we already got into a very bad disaster. As we end the month of February, I will end on this point. There's 10 months left in 2019. Maybe something can change. But again, I urge you all, don't be silent about graffiti. It is a crime. It is a serious misdemeanor. You see something? Say something. That's what Bloomberg said. If you see something, at NYCT Subway on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter handle, create one. If you don't tweet that often, you see something, that's what you should be using your Twitter handle for. Because NYCT needs to know what's going on. sick and tired of seeing the graffiti. I'm sick and tired of seeing the trash on the tracks. And, you know, Pine Power LI's watching, and no, he is. Hopefully he is. I bet he's on the same boat as me, that I'm sick and tired of seeing the homeless hanging around the train stations. And I'm completely sick and tired of seeing the same homeless person that's been at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike for the past 3 years. And I know if I were to go to the meeting on Monday, I wouldn't be ranting. I would just be telling Andy Byford what's been going on, and if possible, I would even be printing up the pictures and giving them to the committee. Let's hope maybe March can turn around. And once again, if I see something on the summits next month, or this upcoming week, Greenpoint Avenue and Woodhaven Boulevard, at Andy's Randomness, I will also be putting the pictures on Instagram if I see something, because again, you know who's not going to report on it? The local media. And more importantly, the fare evading is getting worse too. Forgot to mention that. So at the end of this video, as I wrap everything up, there's going to be a card right now. Inside Edition exposed these fare beaters. And yes, I'll even admit in January at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike, I saw somebody jumping the turnstile. So again, it just proves the point that I've noticed since, I would say, has to be since 2017, but the subway's just gotten worse. And I'm going to say this now. I didn't have a problem in 15. I didn't have a problem in 16. 2 long years. And I'm getting tired of it. And that's why, again, Faremageddon, we are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days till Faremageddon. I don't want to see the rest of my fellow strap hangers have to pay $3. And I don't want to pay $1.60 just to ride the buses and subways. I don't. So that being all said, I've talked too much. Let's hope March can turn a tide. Thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.